which envy, hate, and stir their strife with stealth.
Not them again. Not them again.
Not them again. Not them again.
Pull up. Hold on. Dean Jonas take out the woman that says crap go smoke pipe. And now they send for a serpent. I got trample the serpent tonight. Turn up the song fire. Turn up.
Not them again. Not ya. Not them again. Sonia. Not them again. Not you people. Not them again. Not them again. Not ya. Not them again. You people. If you take that from
I got trample the serpent tonight. Boy.
not you people.
St. George's. Tell them. Not them again.
Not ya.
Not them again.
Not them again. Not you people. Not them again. Not them again. Not ya. Not them again. Sonia. Not them again. Not you people. Not them again. Hey. For 10 years you people boast and brag.
Listen.
Young down we church we like all of them a have. Remember the gang.
Fire.
Have investors are boasted
After
by
this.
the best. Mash up we country and left me in.
Tell them. Not them again, no sir.
Not them again.
Round ya.
Not them again. No sir. Not them again. Not you people.
Not them again. Wave your red. Wave. Eh? Love a lilac. Me not even tell you what he like. Cause he like for he born. And let me tell you this, you know. Me hear them a chat about how them full of passer. And if you split up all them vote into 17 constituency, then they win one seat. So nobody with them. Nobody with them at all. It's every demo jam on them on Facebook. They afraid me like a hoe. Oh, we're going to start things tonight in St. George's. And let me tell you, on election day, and when the judgment come in for St. George's, it's going to be Dean, all the women! Oh, comrades and friends, our first performer tonight is a long-time comrade, a big Calypsonian in Antigua. So make some nice Labour Party style and welcome Comrade Faithful!
Run, the serpent a come. Run, St. George's people, the guy talk with fork tongue. Good Lord, run, the serpent a come. Give in your support and keep the snake out the door. He say he will enter politics, but the guy is up to dirty tricks. The guy is a great talker and notorious liar. Run, I say the serpent a come. Run, St. George's people, the guy talk with fork tongue. Good Lord, run, the serpent a come. Give in your support and keep the snake out the door. Remember the story in Eden? Yes? Dean, you dream. Dean, crank up the big red machine. All aboard. Run, serpent a come. Run, St. George's people, the guy talking fork tongue. Good Lord, run, the serpent a come. Give Dean your support and keep the snake out the door. Remember the story in Eden, how the serpent deceived the woman, causing death to mankind. Oh, what a horrific crime. You better run, the serpent a come. Run, St. George's people, the guy talk with fork tongue. Good Lord, run, the serpent a come. Give Dean your support and keep the snake out the door. Run, the serpent a come. 24 acres of land and no kind of production. Run, the serpent. Well, me no get no money for nobody now. Me tell you, what about the $20,000 I gave you when you came and asked her, eh? You want me go to the bank so I can get the slip so everybody can see? We are the movement. We don't deal with politics. You hear lie? Hey, Me want born St. George's, right? Understand? And I will support Labour to the end. To death. Everybody say Labour Party. On the 18th January, who go vote? And who? Blessed. Thank you.
Oh yeah, take it down. Somebody say yeah. Comrade Faithful in the house. Let me tell you this, anytime you see a politician have the young people behind him, he can't lose. Anytime a politician have the young people with him, he can't lose. And you see Dean Jonas, tonight he's going to prove why he will be victorious for a third time around. Comrades and friends, make some noise and welcome the youth group, the youth arm of St. George's. Wave your red, wave.
Every time I rise, we do it for the love and I do it for the light. See it for the love and I do it for the light. See it for the love and I do it for the light. See it for the love and I do it for the light. Make them know success don't come overnight. Don't make them know a substance over hype. Do it for the love and I do it for the light. Do it for the love and I do it for the light. That's alright. See them on the post and the street all night. See them on social media type.
Comrades, let me hear you. That was not loud enough for me, honestly. So comrades, let's go again. Comrades. Honorable ministers of our fine nation, fellow youth and comrades, we the St. George's Youth Group welcome you to the Level Up St. George's Rally. As youth growing up in humble households, we are taught to always do the right thing, regardless of what our peers may pressure us to do. We are taught to be the shepherds amid every flock of sheep that may surround us. We are taught to be the leaders amongst those who are in need of wise counsel and guidance. By these teachings, we have gained the understanding that the Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party has always been there for the people, especially the youths. So the people should be for the Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party in return. And as the president of the St. George's Youth Arm, it gives me great pleasure to say with resounding confidence that red is bread. Red was our bread during the crisis brought upon our country by COVID-19. Red was our bread when we rebuilt the country after the economic collapse of Harold Lovell and the United Progressive Party. Red was our bread when the youth needed academic aid. Red is bread.
Red is my bread. Red is your bread. Red is our bread. As a member of the St. George's Youth Arm, I'm of the firm belief that the Honorable Dean Jonas is a gentleman who is forward-thinking, solutions-oriented, and empathetic towards the concerns of his supporters. He is a gentleman who puts his every effort into ensuring St. George's is developed into a constituency best suited for our livelihood. He expanded the general educational options offered to our constituency and increased business and entrepreneurship opportunities. My fellow constituents, it is time to level up. We, the youth of the St. George's constituency, endorse Dean Jonas as our prime candidate. Our country has already been blossoming under the leadership of the Honorable Gaston Brown and our ministers, and there are only greater heights to be achieved.
In passing, I leave you with these words. Live your dream and be like Dean!
again. Take it down, take it down, take it down. Somebody say yeah, yeah. Anytime a politician have the youths behind him, I tell you, can't lose. But you know who else? If a politician have the youths and have the women in his constituency behind him, how he gonna lose? Women of labor, let me hear you! Well, guess what? We're going to welcome the branch women of St. George's. Welcome them on stage, man!
This country, no sir. Not you people. Not ya. Sonia. Not you people. Not ya. Sonia. Not you people. For 10 years you people boast and brag. Nyam down we treasury like all of them a hag. Remember the cat. Now have investors a boast them are the best. Mash up we country and left me in a mess. Not them again. Not them again. Not them again. No sir. Not them again. Not you people. Not them again. Not them again. Not them again. Not them again. When them in office, all they did was grab. Put plenty of people out of job. Not a recent people had in their name. Couldn't hold a job, they bow their heads in shame. Not them again, no sir. Not them again. 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 All of a sudden, like it won't get bright.
Well, it feels good to be home. Almost 5 years I couldn't put on my red. We are the Women's Action Group of the St. George's Branch, and tonight we are here to honor and to represent our candidate for St. George's, Dean Jonas. Brenda. Good night. Comrades, we ready. Red up the place. Wave your flag. Let's get the vibe. We're going all the way with Dean Jonas. I have never met a man that is more reliable and accessible. I can message Dean and anyone can message Dean on the WhatsApp chat and Dean respond. You cannot want a better representative than one that is accessible. So we're going all the way, level up, up, all the way with Dean Jonas.
Dean Jonas promise that he'll never leave you alone. St. George's people, yes, he loves you all to the bone. Defending every man, each boy, girl, and woman. Dean always gives a helping hand. 8 years of development for all to see. Education, sports, and health, prosperity. So on election day, we're voting Dean all the way. He is the one.
We have your red, we have.
This is a real leader.
Hey.
St. George is with him forever.
Hey.
Continuing to the
Pull up again. Pull up again. Play it again.
Dean,
Play it again. Play it again when I hear.
Dean Jonas promise that he'll never leave you alone.
Listen!
St. George's people, yes, he loves you all to the bone. Defending every man, each boy, girl, and woman. Dean always gives a helping hand. 8 years of development for all to see. Education, sports, and health, prosperity. So on election day, we're voting Dean all the way.
Tell them how we go.
Dean Jonas is a real leader.
Hey.
St. George is with him.
Somebody say yeah. I believe they can hear us from Wilkie's. Well. You heard from the youths of St. George's. You heard from the women of St. George's. Well, I have another beautiful woman to bring on stage tonight. And she is also from St. George's constituency. Comrades and friends, make some noise and help me to welcome Comrade Marva Woolley!
I feel good. The numbers looking good. When we say red is bread. You heard from the youth arm. You heard from my fellow women. Now hear from the youth parliamentary representative. I've worked with Mr. Genius. Initiative, you can count on him. Program, you can count on him. Visionary, you can count on him. Y'all ever hear about the blue economy? That was the brainchild of our representative, the Honorable Dean Jonas. You see programs rolling out? You see the development of the constituency rolling out? No man, y'all dead. Y'all see the development of our constituency rolling out? Dean Jonas that. So come the 18th of this month, who we voting for? Who we voting for? Dean Jonas all the way, and red is bread.
Dean Jonas promise that he'll never leave you alone. St. George's people, yes, he loves you all to the bone.
What?
Defending every man.
Well.
Woman. Dean always gives a helping
Oh, yes.
8 years of development for all to see.
Take it down. Somebody say, yeah. I'm telling you, boy, she hype bad. You hear how she hype? That is passion right there. When it comes to Antigua and Barbuda and the leadership of this country, you have to be passionate. This is not a joking thing. You can't put little boy and little woman and little picnic in a big people suburban. Nobody on the side they over they qualified for run this country like the Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party. Let's hear it for Labour, man! What do them? Love a lie. Let me tell you all something. Tonight, we going with Dean and St. George's on the 18th of January. And then another 18th the next week. So make sure you have your weapon close. Because we voting for Dean Jonas and Team Labour in St. George's. But I'm not here to tell you about that. No. Let me invite another comrade. One of the young ones and them. One of them that has a voice that everybody listens to. And you know, when Labour Party people talk, Antigua people listen. Comrades and friends, make some noise and welcome Comrade Clement Antonio.
You go bow for the result, nothing to discuss, cause I did win by default and without any doubt, I'm a me happy adult, I no go feed the girl, I no go feed the guy is out, I'm a mind that's you the talk, I put my life into my job and I know I'm in trouble, she manipulate my love.
Comrades, youth of Labour. No, man, that's not good enough. Comrades, youth of Labour. Tonight it warms my heart to see so many of you. Tonight I stand on this platform in support of a man who is courageous, fearless, and a visionary. A man of and for the people. Our representative. Let me hear you. Let me hear you for Dean Jonas. Dean, a man who understands the struggles of you, the people. A man who came to service,
to defend the interest of each and every one of you. The man who delivered us from the ragtag queen. The man who will protect us from the evil powers and chaos of the serpents. Dean, a man who we know, a man who is always accessible, a man who remains grounded in this constituency. What you see is what you get. Comrades and friends, constituents of St. George, in 8 days, we will go to the polls. We will go to the polls and vote to protect our future. The future of your children. And not only your children, but those to come after you. Comrades, determined is Dean to ensure that you, the people of St. George, is graduated as a community of zero poverty, zero unemployment, with the best access to health and educational facilities. Dean gives you a second chance. Dean represents equal opportunities for each and every one of you. I want you to shout for Dean. Comrades, we must not forget the jobs that were lost, the homes that were lost, the neglect this country faced under the UPP during the period of 2004 to 2014. Do you remember the separation package, which drove so many of you into poverty? The burdens of the IMF, salaries being paid up to 6 weeks late. Do you remember? Harold Lovell and the UPP gang represent nothing. They are nothing but a bunch of thugs preparing to rape our country. Rape our country from what this government has fought so hard for. The UPP is prepared to sell all of your state assets. Is that what you want? Harold Lovell and his gang on January 18th will be wiped out. They will never be given the opportunity to hold us hostage and bankrupt this country. Never again. Comrades, they speak of youth empowerment. We deliver on empowering the youth. We have living testimonies. Look at persons like Regis Burton, leading the Cannabis Authority. Jamie Saunders, leading the Directorate of Gender Affairs. Aaron Nicholas, as the CEO of State Insurance. Vera Aaron, an executive board member. And this is only a few. Comrades, we have the perfect union. We may all have different stories, but we hold common hopes. We may not look the same, but we're moving in the same direction. Towards a better future for our children and grandchildren. Antiguans and Barbudans, my Caribbean brothers and sisters, there's a lot to be proud of. Comrades, over 1,000 homes delivered, over 500 plots of lands allocated, your ability to own a car, the establishment of UWI, the Fort Landed campus, so you can educate yourselves. Let me hear you say next level. Comrades, we have a lot to smile about. Comrades, the UPP continues to run a degrading campaign built on hate, anger, and bad mind. Is that the type of representation you want? Comrades, the UPP have no plans. Comrades, Antigua and Barbuda is moving on to the next level under the leadership of Gaston Brown and Team Labour. What we have already achieved gives hope. Comrades, at this time, in this election, we will come together and let the UPP know, not now, not ever. We are going to the next level with Team Labour. The UPP represents the absence of sound policies and sensible plans. The UPP represents failure in leadership and the smallness of politics. The Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party continues to reshape our economy to compete in the digital age. We are setting high standards for our schools and giving them the resources they need to succeed. Comrades, as we take this country to the next level, we are ensuring that you, the people, are sharing in prosperity. Youth of Labour, be the generation that make future generations proud of what you did. Vote for Labour for a secured future. Youth of Labour, vote for Labour for a secured future. A secured future can only be achieved if you get up and go out and vote. But not only go out and vote, but vote for the Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party. Comrades, in these last days, when you go out and campaign, because that is our responsibility, in these last days, we are protecting the future of our nation. It is about what we can accomplish together. It is about protecting our future. It is about indeed going to the next level. Comrades, we're going to go out and vote for the Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party for justice and opportunity to secure our education system, our jobs, our homes, and our future. Comrades, we are in trouble. We are in trouble if you do not get up and go out and vote for the Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party. We are in trouble if you allow Harold Lovell to get power in this country. Comrades, there's a lot at stake. Comrades, on January 18, you will go out and not only re-elect Dean Jonas, but you will re-elect each and every candidate that represents the Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party. Comrades, your future is secured with Labour. Thank you.
If you take that come back and mash up this country, no stop. Not you people.
Yeah, man, wave your red, wave. Not them again. Not them again. I'm down the cherry tree like all of them a hug. Tell Lovell and them, tell them. Tell Lovell. What we say? Not them again. Not them again. Let's hear it for Labour, man. Yes. Comrade Antonio there. And you hear what he say. He gave the whole rundown. He gave you achievements of the Labour Party, and he gave you the failures of the UPP. When you hear about all them failure day, wow, we go with them again. Not them there again. Let me tell you this, you know. We go into a constituency where the woman running against our comrade, I can sell ice cream for the rest of her life. She now win nothing tall in Antigua. When I done with she, back in she ice cream shop she go. She want to represent the people and can't pronounce the word oppression. Eh? You think it's joke? We have an education minister and we're going with Darrell Matthew. Comrades, we have your red man and welcome, Comrade Matthew.
Never let your problems get you down. Stay focused and hold your ground.
Cause what?
Because what don't kill you
We have
make you stronger.
your red.
It's like steroids, man.
Hey.
I get my doses
Why?
from all kinds of sources.
Yeah, man. Look at red.
You see, as them stick me on the high so right on the tongue and just like taboo. So as the box speed up, so I
Comrade Matthew, I want to do she. I want to do with them.
and when you hear the Lord, then get through. I just want love. I feel like
Not tonight for that. Comrades, how you doing? Comrades, how you doing? All right, you look good. You know, let me tell you something, huh? I love these campaigns, you know. I love public meetings. Now, public meetings is when you really feel the energy of the people. And you look good tonight and you're red. And you know, as I say, red means bread. But let me tell you all something. We have a serious matter at hand that we need to discuss. We're going to talk the politics, but we need to talk some serious business first. You know, they say education, comrades, is the most effective way of lifting people out of poverty. And there's no administration in this country's history that has provided more opportunities for education like the Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party. There is no political party in the history of this nation that has done more to build educational infrastructure like the Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party. And I will also say, there is no political institution in this country that has done more to try and deprive the people of this nation of educational opportunities like the United Progressive Party. And we're going to talk facts tonight. Because, you know, they say joke is joke, but damn joke is no joke. I recall as a youngster, as a teenager, in the 1990s, when the Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party, under the stewardship of the late Sir Lester Brilliant Bird, decided to introduce the education levy. The same education levy that now provides thousands of scholarships for students to attend university. The United Progressive Party, with the same Harold Lovell that is now trying to promote himself as some sort of savior. They march, they picketed, they shut down this country, saying that any time an education levy went into place, this country will never reopen. But to the resilience of the government at the time, and the people who saw the bigger picture, the education levy was implemented. And up to today, students are able to get higher education who might not have been able to afford it otherwise, have benefited. I am one of those students. If I did not have the opportunity to get a scholarship from the government through the education levy, I would not be standing here proudly as Minister of Education of this great nation of Antigua and Barbuda. The Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party pioneered the build-out of our primary schools in this country. Every village at one point had a primary school. The Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party ensured that the secondary school infrastructure was built out in the different zones around the island over the last 50 years. The Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party, under the stewardship of Lester Brilliant Bird, implemented the Antigua and Barbuda International Institute of Technology. The Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party administration built out and established Abby, standing right there behind us. But we'll talk a little bit more about that. You know, the UPP, they launched the manifesto a couple of days ago, and I took the time to read it. And it was painful reading. But I looked for the section where they spoke about education. And I want you to work with me tonight. All right? I'm going to read out the things they say in education. And I want you to tell me what you think. They say the CXC will pay for 5 CXCs as a means test, or determined by a means test, to help students who did not pass their CXCs in school. Try, Alan, don't do that. We don't do that in the YEEP program. Let me hear you. We don't do that. The UPP will work closely with the Ministry of Education and the Antigua and Barbuda Union of Teachers to understand and meet the needs of the teachers. We don't do that. All the teachers are getting their upgrades right now as we speak. And the negotiations for the reclassification is taking place. So we don't do that. Let me hear you. But hear this one. The UPP will construct a new secondary school. We don't do that, looking right there. We don't do that, let me hear you. We will modernize, the UPP will modernize the educational curriculum and introduce civics in the classroom. We don't do that. Where they going with this? But hold on, we're not finished yet. Hear this one. We're coming Michael Brown around. He's probably somewhere in the audience. The UPP will strengthen early childhood education and will construct 4 early childhood centers. We don't do that. We have a state-of-the-art institution in Buckley's. And last week, if you were listening to the Prime Minister announced that we have now received funding to build an additional 5 early childhood centers. 1 in Bowlands, 1 in St. Paul's, 1 right here at Potters, 1 in Golden Grove, and 1 down in Five Islands. We don't do that. It says the UPP will increase focus on STEM. And for those of you who don't know what STEM is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And so a lot of schools around the world are now introducing STEM education in the schools. But over the summer last year, we held a STEM camp for over 300 young people in this country at Five Islands campus. And we are now introducing STEM in our classroom. So what happened? We don't do that. Hold on, but hear this one too. Hey, they're crazy, no? They're real crazy. The UPP will rebrand and rebuild Abyss to create a diploma granting institution. Wait, they're blind? Just look behind us right there. £4 million as a gift to rebuild and rebrand Abyss. So what happened? We don't do that. The UPP, hold on, man. The UPP will provide more scholarships for students to attend Abyss, ASC, and the Antigua State College. There is no government in this country's history that this Gaston Brown administration that has provided more scholarships for the people of this nation than the Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party. So what happened? Look, somebody, bring me a bottle of water, somebody. Clear faster, bring a bottle of water to me, because me just get started. But hold on, they continue now. The UPP will support more online and distance learning. Thank you. We, over the past 2 years, under the leadership of Dr. Michael Brown, when he was Minister of Education, and under my stewardship, we have perfected, by working with our teachers and our education, the remote learning platforms so our students could go back to school during COVID. So what happened? We don't do that. Hold on, wait. The UPP will provide more nutritious meals in the school meals program. Today, January morning, 9 primary schools in Antigua and Barbuda not only get their school meals, because almost all the schools get their lunch, but we have now started to give breakfast to students at 9 schools in Antigua and Barbuda. So you know what happened? We don't do that. Hold on, I'm coming right now, man. Wait. The UPP will improve technology in schools and in our classrooms. We have given every single teacher in the public school system in this country a device. Almost all of our secondary school students have a device. We're now going into the primary schools. Every public school in this country has high-speed internet. So you know what? We don't do that. UPP will provide classes for the inmates
at Her Majesty's prison. Wait, then watch news and so? We don't do that too. And hold on, no, it's not just classes they get in. It's university classes they get in from the same Five Islands campus that they fight. So we don't do that better than they said they're going to do it. The last one, hear this. The UPP will facilitate lifelong learning education. I don't do that a long time. And guess what, you know? The Five Islands campus last year established a school of lifelong learning headed by Paula Lee. So I don't do that too. They have no plans, comrades and friends. They have no ideas. They come, they regurgitate, they talk like they're vomiting, and they have nothing to offer to you, the people of Antigua and Barbuda. But I'm not talking about the manifesto anymore. I'm done with the manifesto. That's a nonsense document. You all right, sweetie? You all right? Okay, good. She said, Madam, right. Now, I want to share with you, you see, because we're at a critical point in the history of this country. Anyone who fights against education, they don't love you. Anyone who tries to deny access to education for anyone, they do not love you. They're trying to keep our people uneducated and suppressed. And it is through education that people get a sense of confidence. When you're educated, you can stand in a room with anyone and have any kind of discussion with them. And so when the Prime Minister says that by the year 2030, every household in this country must have someone in that household who has a university degree, it is because he recognizes that with education, with qualifications, with a sense of accomplishment, you have a sense of confidence. And that is what the UPP lacks. They are trying to dumb down the people of this country to say that an education is not important once you have ethics. And I just say, the leader of the UPP said this. We don't need educated people to run this country, as long as they're ethical people. But I want to say to the leader of the UPP, we are living in a real world, in a real country that we have to manage and administer, to deal with real challenges. So yes, you need a sense of ethics, but you need people who can represent. You need people who can go on the world stage. You need people who can stand and advocate and fight for the people of this nation. Because in this world, no one does anything just because they love you. Small countries like ours, we don't achieve anything simply because people like you. You don't get what you deserve in this world. You get what you fight for. And to fight, you must be prepared. And one of the tools that you need in your arsenal when you're fighting is education. Over the last 8 years, under the Honorable Gaston Brown, the educational infrastructure in this country has grown in leaps and bounds. And I'm going to just share with you a little bit so that you can get a perspective of what it is the vision for this country in education is. We have invested heavily, as I mentioned, in early childhood education because the studies all show that students who have access to early childhood education between the ages of 0 and 3, they tend to do better later in life. But what has happened is that persons who do not have access, maybe because they can't afford it, they don't have the means, their children already start way behind the curve as compared to those persons who can afford to send their children to private institutions. We recognize that that is an inherent flaw in our national development. And it is for that reason that the government has invested so heavily in early childhood education. We have the new state-of-the-art center at Buckley's. We have the one at Simon Boulevard. And as I mentioned, we have now received grant funding to build an additional 5 around the island. So your children, my children, and the children of all those persons who cannot necessarily afford to pay to send their children to an early childhood center or daycare, they can have the opportunity to do so for free so that their children can receive the same advantages in society and in the world. The children can receive the same opportunities and they're not left behind. We have gone further and built out the primary and secondary educational infrastructure. You look at the school right here to my left, the St. Novel Richards Academy. When that school was constructed initially, we were ridiculed. We were told we don't know what we're doing. You're building half a school. Nobody going to want to go there. We don't want a university, we want a school in 5 Islands. And just a few short years later, that school the St. Novel Richards Academy, right here in Potters, is the model secondary school in Antigua and Barbuda. We have students and their parents coming to the Ministry of Education on a daily basis, asking for their children to be transferred to the St. Novel Richards Academy. And whereas in the past, the Antigua Grammar School and the Antigua Girls High School were the crown jewels of education in the public sector, and they're still good schools, so I don't want to make it seem as if I'm dragging them down. They're still good schools. But now, the St. Novel Richards Academy, with its infrastructure, with its curriculum, has now grown in leaps and bounds to become the diamond in the crown of the secondary school infrastructure in this country. Let's hear it for the United Progressive Party and their nonsense. Nonsense, come on. They are speaking nonsense. So we must let them know that we will not support them and their rubbish. The Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party is the party of choice who has built out that institution, and we continue to build it out. But we're not done there. And in fact, let me tell you something. So far, we have spent in excess of $20 million in that institution. And about half of it has been grant funding, donor funds that were given to the government because they recognize the importance that we have placed on infrastructure. We have also now focused on technical and vocational training. And we spoke earlier about ABIS and all that is being done right here in ABIS. The Harrison Center for Continuing Education in Antigua and Barbuda. Because not everyone wants a university degree. Some persons want to focus on the technical aspects and the skills training. And so we are now spending in excess of £4 million that was donated, not your taxpayers' money, donated to build out the Harrison Center for Continuing Education at ABIS. And that is going to become a model institution in the OECS. Because when the completion is done in a few months, we will see the exciting list of programs that that institution will offer. And we'll go further. Let's talk about now the University of the West Indies Five Islands campus. And people get tired when we talk about you know. They say, oh, y'all always talking about university education. Y'all always talking about building a campus here and bringing the university here. But what they don't recognize is the fight that this government had to get the university to establish that campus in Antigua and Barbuda. And how that university will change the entire landscape of this country in years to come. When you have the opportunity to go to university at a fraction of the cost that it would take to travel abroad, it means you have access. When you have the opportunity to work and continue your day job and go to classes in the evening, it means you have access. When the Five Islands community recognizes that in a few short years, that entire community will become a university town, it means that the economic growth that that university will bring to the country is already being felt. And I'm happy to say that next week, Tuesday, this government, led by the Honorable Gaston Brown as Prime Minister, will sign an agreement for $80 million US, approximately 220 million EC dollars, with the Saudi Development Fund to build out the entire university infrastructure in Five Islands. Can you imagine what $200 million will do in an economy like down at Five Islands in a small community? That means you're building out dormitories for students to live. You're building restaurants. You're building a sports complex that will have an indoor sporting facility, a world-class cricket facility, and a pool, an Olympic-sized pool as a part of the university infrastructure. It means you will build out a clinic to service the university and the surrounding areas. It means that there is tremendous amount of benefits. There are tremendous benefits to be had simply by having a university domicile there. And so when they said to us, we don't want a university, we want a secondary school, it means that they're limited in their thinking. They cannot see the big picture. They cannot recognize that our national development hinders and hinges on our ability to get our people educated in a cost-effective way, and so that more persons have access. And so we will never be ashamed of fighting to ensure that that university is there. In fact, when we had the town hall meeting a few months ago in Five Islands to share with the residents of Five Islands what the plans are, the former Prime Minister himself listened to the presentation. And once the presentation was done, he stood up and said, I endorse this vision that the government has put forward for the University of the West Indies Five Islands, and I support it. And as soon as he was done saying that, the gentleman who wanted to challenge our lovable leader, the UPP, Mr. Richard Lewis, got up and walked out the room. They have no interest in educating our people in this country. They are wicked, they are evil, and we cannot allow them to get the reins of government in this country because that will hinder in a negative way all of our students in this country. They have no vision for education. I'll go further. You know, there's an area that I know touches a lot of persons, and it's a very sensitive area, and it's the area of special needs education. It's an area that many persons have overlooked over the years, and while we have the adult school that already exists, we need to pay a lot more attention to special needs education. And so for that reason, that the government has prioritized the build out of our special needs infrastructure for 2023. We are going to be putting programs in place to ensure that there's no child left behind, because we insist we must close the circle of educational opportunities in this country. So when we speak about early childhood education, we speak about primary and secondary school build-out, we speak about tertiary level education, we speak about the university education, we must now close the circle and include special needs education. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I wish to share with you just a few words on my comment over here. Wait, where you going? Dean? Where you going? No, come on, put down that and come. You see, let me tell you. You see, come here, Jonas, he botheration now. But I like him. Nice guy. You know, one of the things I've learned, because I sit right next to Dean in the cabinet. In the cabinet, Dean sits there, I sit right here. And one of the things I will say about Dean Jonas, the Honorable Dean Jonas, is that he fights hard for this constituency. It's not by accident that nearly $40 million worth of infrastructure development has taken place right in St. George's. It's not by accident that an early childhood center will be built right there. It is not by accident that the aquatic center, the state-of-the-art aquatic center being built right across there is in St. George's. It is because the Honorable Dean Jonas, every single Wednesday, he pounds the pavement and he advocates in cabinet for his constituency. And Dean, I will say to you, I believe that this constituency should be proud to have a man like you representing them. This constituency should be privileged and honored to have a man like you representing them. And I have no doubt that come next Wednesday, all this time next Wednesday, because it's 9 o'clock, all this time, you're Dean. You have my full support. You have my full endorsement. Ladies and gentlemen, the Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party will be victorious. Let us go, get out the vote, and ensure that we are returned to government with an even bigger majority. God bless. I love you.
Somebody say yeah. You hear how Minister of Education speak? Oh. Eh? Well, here, and the one that can't spell grateful, they want to be education minister. Listen to me. How you want to be education minister and can't spell grateful? For me 10-year-old daughter can shut she and spell grateful. Wow, we go with them again. Let's hear it for Comrade Matthew Man. Yes. Fire us, you ready for me? I'm going to tell you what you tell me just now. I'm going to tell you what you tell me, but hold on. Let me tell you this. It's St. George's we in. And we have a curveball for the one they call Serpent tonight. Murder when me tell her what happened. And I go, look here, you see the ball reach? When me tell her what happened, and I'm going to believe. But before I bring on the next speaker, Fire us, give me one song there. Tell them on the next side, tell them.
Man to man is children. You don't know who to trust.
Listen!
Your worst enemy could be your best friend.
Hold on, man, you can hear.
And your best friend, your worst enemy.
Listen, listen.
Some will eat and
what else? What else? What else?
I insist upon you. Only your friend know your secret.
Mama!
So only he
Hey!
could reveal.
Tell Serpent! Tell Serpent! Tell Serpent! What? Hold on. Them said Dean Jonas not getting a third term. You believe them? The next song me go play is Comrade Robin Yearwood's song. But because in a St. George's tonight, me go play up for Dean. Real tune. Tell them, Dean.
I've got tired. Yet of the race. He said I'm in your place.
What's up and do I do?
And then
Brrr. When me come out here, you know, they say me sing for me supper. But let me tell you this. The worst thing ever happened to Antigua and Barbuda UPP. And in a start with them, it start from PLM. When they come to Antigua people blue chicken for yam. We now go back in them days day. Listen to this clip here. Run the clip, Fire.
If you remember, Madam Speaker, some time ago, I spoke in here about the awarding of certain benefits to young people. The Governor General offering them what kind of thing and so on? And them certain accolades, all kind of stuff. And I warned, Madam Speaker, that those type of awards should be given to matured persons. Yes, national awards, thank you. Should be given to matured persons, persons who have at least come through the young stage and reach a particular age where their control and their discipline is more in place. Some years ago, Madam Speaker, when the Labour Party was in office, a minister of the Labour Party took a delegation to St. Lucia.
Hold on, Fire level. Y'all heard the clip, right?
And while
Hold on, don't play it no more. Don't play it no more. Don't play it no more. Let me tell you this. Serpent has a brother. And his brother is here tonight wearing red. Now, let me tell you why he's here wearing red. Because he know Serpent no good for nothing. It has come to my attention that Serpent has 2 children that his brother is feeding for him, and that's why he won't go in a parliament go sit down. We now put Serpent in there. You think me a lie? Labor rights, let's welcome the brother of Serpent Watts to the podium, man.
this country, no stop. Not you people.
Comrades and friends, good night. A couple years ago, I was in the States going to school, and I heard that that Dean had a chain. Somebody was going to compete against him. And when I found out who the person was, I packed my bag and I come home. Because I said, not them again. My job tonight is not to have an eloquent speech as Comrade Matthew. I'm not going to even speak long. But I want you to listen to my words very, very carefully. Because my words are very pointed. I'm in a raw back, so we can't talk raw back. My name is Mike. I am here tonight to endorse Dean Jonas. Let me repeat the name. I am here tonight. I wasn't paid. I wasn't paid to come here. I'm here tonight to endorse Dean Jonas as our representative for St. George. Some of you in here might be saying, why you not working with your brother? Why you not vote for your brother? My answer tonight is simply this to all of you who ask the question. I only vote for integrity, honesty, transparency, and decency. Dean Jonas is a man who will do what he says, not make promises that he can't keep. Dean Jonas has proven himself time and time again. I see no other choice for St. George but Dean Jonas. So I say in closing, I stand proudly here without any remorse or fear of any man that Dean Jonas is St. George's candidate come election day next week. Ladies and gentlemen, again, I said again before I leave, I wasn't paid to come here. I made a choice because I see no better government than the Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party with the leadership of the Honorable Gaston Brown. I was in school because of the Antigua Labour Party. And the Honorable Dean Jonas have always encouraged me, go and get your education. There's no other person. St. George, come election day. Dean Jonas all the way.
If you take out the phone back and mash up this country, no stop.
We have your red, we have your red, we have your red, we have. Not them again, no sir. We have your red man. Hey.
For 10 years you people most and brag.
What?
Nyang down we charge me like all of them are have.
Them nonsense.
I have investors, I boast them are the best.
Tell Lovell and them. What? Not them again, round ya.
Not them again. Not them again, no sir. Not them again.
Somebody say yeah, yeah. How you can have one brother and he not support you? Something half wrong with you. Something half wrong with you. Serpent, I'm sorry for you. Cause when Dean done with you, write off your career. Write off your career for good. Eh? Wapati? Y'all know how I stay now. The man that is best to lead this country is the Honorable Gaston Brown. The man that is best to lead, and let me remind you all, if Gaston been born in England, he would be the King of England. If he been born in America, he'd be the President of America. So why not make him the Prime Minister for your third time? Comrades and friends, wave your red and welcome our leader, the world boss, Tony up!
Be upset.
No, don't say it!
Master the craft run the country. Love Lil, you don't have 19.
Wave your red, wave!
Country. Oh, you for run the country.
Wave!
Gaston, Grace Farm, Villa, Gaston, election, winner. No. Team name by them well ready. Until you got the flag, world boss and favorite. Gaston on the place, you be upset.
What?
Love Lil.
Run the bless, man!
Yes, I love the blessing.
Run the bless!
I love the blessing.
Look on the world, boss!
Blessing.
What a leader!
12 more blessings.
What a leader!
The blessing. I love the blessing. They can't stop me. I am blessed.
Wave your red, wave!
I am blessed.
Wave!
Every day of my life I am blessed.
Yes!
When I wake up in the morning and I lay my head to rest.
Well, boss, you ready? You ready? Let's go! Let's go!
Labour! Are you ready for January 18th? Are you ready to defeat the UPP? Are you ready to put Harold Lovell in retirement? Absolutely. My dear comrades, tonight I am here to endorse the candidacy of Comrade Dean Jonas, a man who has served this community with distinction for the past 8.5 years. A man who comes with the skills to take St. George to the next level of progress, the next level of prosperity. And when you compare him to his political opponent, it's like comparing chalk and cheese. There's no comparison. You would have heard from Serpent's brother just now, and you know there's a saying that when Barracuda say shark mouth think, you know that Barracuda talking the truth. So you just heard from Serpent's brother, who said that Serpent is not ready for prime time. Serpent is not ready for governance. Serpent cannot even govern his own affairs, much less to govern the affairs of the people of St. George. Now let us understand that he is Serpent and not Serpent. Serpent does not exist. There is a serpent known as Algernon Watt. And you know who is a serpent? A serpent is a treacherous person who abuses the trust. A treacherous person who violates, who abuses the trust. You look up the definition for serpent. And you telling me that such a character could be given the trust by the people of Antigua and Barbuda to serve as a representative or as a minister in the government? Of course not. Because at the end of the day, Serpent does not have the integrity to serve. And we all know about all of his excesses. And I don't need to waste my time to repeat them. We know who Serpent is. And we know that Serpent, like many others in the UPP, including some criminal elements, that they are unfit to govern. So I said to the people of St. George this evening that you must make the right choice. That you should keep elements like Serpent out of office in the public interest. Because at the end of the day, he has nothing to offer the people of St. George. You know, he boasts about ownership or part ownership of the Observer radio station. I want to say to you all tonight that it is the benevolence of my administration why Serpent et al. Ended up as part owners
of Observer Radio. Because Observer Radio went belly up a few years ago onto the derricks. They owed the government of Antigua and Barbuda a few $1 million. And we decided to do a workout with some land that they have at McNeish, which we have not acquired as yet. The transfer has not been completed. But what happened during that process was that Serpent and a few others were able to buy the radio assets at a fraction of the value of the company. Now, we could have taken a position that the radio asset potentially would have had the cash flows and could have been valued at millions of dollars. But we did not intervene. We saw it as a form of empowerment in the ownership of local Antiguans and Barbudans, notwithstanding the fact that they were not politically aligned to us. So, whereas the government of Antigua and Barbuda and other agencies, including APUA, that they were the creditors and they had first priority, we allowed them to acquire the assets of the Observer. And a few years later, Serpent decided a Fumi station, me no want nobody pande, or me no want certain people on there. Literally trying to abuse that media trust that was reposed in him. And that is why I said to you that Serpent is not a man to be trusted. And by the way, you know, it is a pastor in this community who call him Serpent for his misdeeds. And again, I wouldn't get into those because we want to make sure we protect the various media stations or media entities that are carrying this meeting. But again, you know who Serpent is. Comrade Dean Jonas, on the other hand, is a man of integrity, a man who has delivered for the people of this constituency. And St. George will note that this community is now emerging as an educational hub. We have built out the Sir Novel Richards Academy next door, and we are also expanding the Abyss Youth Skills, or formerly Youth Skills. That is the Antigua and Barbuda Institute for Continuing Education, the Harrison Center. We are spending in the region of about $15 to $20 million. Mr. Harrison himself has given us a grant of about $13 million. And by the end of the program, when we would have added our counterpart funding, we would spend between $15 and $20 million to take Abyss to the next level. So the new Abyss will now provide technical and vocational training that will be internationally recognizable. Because we recognize that we have to provide a pathway not only for the academics, but also those who are interested in a technical or vocational education. And you know too that we recently agreed to establish an Olympic swimming pool here so that our swimmers, they will have proper facilities. And I know too that the representative, that he has many other plans. I know too that he would like to have the proposed indoor sporting facility to be located here. But that is a matter of him to negotiate with the Minister of Sports. So in reality, there have been a significant amount of progress that has taken place in this community. And I know that the representative has a number of plans, and he will speak to those plans, including his plans to provide affordable housing to the people of this area. Now, I want to say here too that I'm a Potter man just like Comrade Dean Jonas. And many of you may not be aware, but my navel string was not buried at Halberton. My navel string was buried in Potters. So born in Potters, raised in Point and Grace Farm. That is my history. And I want to reassure the people of St. George, to include Potters, that I will continue to work with their representative to build out the socio-economic infrastructure of this community. And again, I appeal to all the people of St. George to continue to support Comrade Dean Jonas. Tonight, I wish to speak briefly about the economy and where we're taking this country. As I've said to you from time to time, the next level is not a cliche. It is a new frontier of development, of progress and prosperity This year, in 2023, we expect to grow the country's economy by approximately 8 to 8.5%. You know, last year, in 2022, we'd have grown the country's economy by 8.3%. And assuming that the funds from UE5 Islands, the $216 million, start to flow early, there's no reason why we cannot do as much as 10% this year. And as we expand the country's economy rapidly, it means that more jobs will be created, the government will earn more revenues, and we'll be able to address a number of issues. It means, for example, public servants can get larger increases. It means that pensioners, too, can get the increase. So we have a number of projects that are taking place, and we have a number of projects that will come on stream. In the hotel sector, currently, Halcyon Hotel is being rebuilt. So you will have a Halcyon Chic Resort, or Royalton Chic Resort, that will create over 800 jobs by November of this year. You'll also have the expansion of Sandals. That will create another 300 jobs by the next tourism season. In addition to that, we have PLH in Barbuda that will generate at least another 400 to 500 permanent jobs. And of course, as we build out UE5 Islands, the $216 million that will be spent within the next 18 months will provide a significant amount of jobs. So you can see that we have the projects, we have attracted the projects, and they're taking place. Already Global Ports has mobilized. They have mobilized to construct a $100 million tourism facility, cruise tourism facility on Lower Newgate Street. Again, that will generate perhaps at least 100 jobs. So the jobs are coming, the investments are coming. And the good thing about it is that we're using the revenue of the country to enhance the socio-economic infrastructure of our country. Many of you would have been at our manifesto launch this morning, and we would have indicated to you that we will take healthcare to the next level. So the next level includes the establishment of a cardiac unit in which we will do non-invasive procedures to include the installation of stents, pacemakers, and we will also increase the amount of kidney transplants that we do in this country because we're also building out our renal unit. So you can see in all aspects of our development, we're taking Antigua and Barbuda to the next level. Let's hear it for the Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party, man. And you know, these developments do not come by chance. They come through planning, through experience, competence, and visionary leadership. And I certainly want to thank all of my colleagues for the contribution that they've made during the last 8.5 years to move this country to the next level. My dear people, when you look at our infrastructure, there's no doubt that we're making significant progress. Our main arteries are being rebuilt. You look at our cargo port, our cruise port. We have spent over $500 million expanding our cargo and cruise ports. So today, Antigua and Barbuda has one of the best socio-economic infrastructure of any other island within the OECS Caribbean and beyond. So we can stand on our track record. You know, our manifesto is 135 pages. And the reason for that, we were able to provide the evidence of our contribution towards the advancement of this country during the last 8.5 years, and to provide you with the plans to take Antigua and Barbuda to the next level of development and progress. We are also diversifying our country's economy. We are diversifying our tourism product, attracting more high-end tourism projects. In fact, at Mill Reef Club, Windward Beach, Jumbi Bay, PLH, we are attracting some of the wealthiest people in the world. Barbuda itself is now poised to become the most exciting luxury destination within the Caribbean. That's right, little Barbuda, that 5 years ago was decimated by Hurricane Irma and was deemed to be uninhabitable, is now emerging as the most exciting luxury destination in the Caribbean. Let's hear it again for Labour Man. My dear colleagues, my dear comrades, I say to you tonight that there is no other administration in the history of this country that has performed better in an 8.5-year period than the current Gaston Brown administration. In every aspect of our development, in infrastructural development, healthcare, education, entrepreneurship, you name it. And you know, we have some very exciting sectors that we have developed and are expanding. So for example, you have the stem cell sector. You have wealthy North Americans and Europeans who are traveling here to Antigua on a monthly basis to get treated with stem cells to cover many ailments. Perhaps the only country within the Eastern Caribbean and beyond that is offering stem cells treatment. And even the blockchain, for example, there have been some issues, and we know about the situation with FTX. We remain committed to offering the infrastructure, the ecosystem for blockchain and cryptocurrencies to operate within a well-regulated space. In fact, if our space was not properly regulated, FTX, the scandal would have happened here. Because here is where they tried to register initially and to conduct business. They did get the registration, but they were not given the license to operate in Antigua and Barbuda, and they went elsewhere. And we know precisely what happened. So we are building significant capacity in a number of areas. Our country is far more globally competitive than it has been at any time in its history. Even in terms of the marijuana or cannabis industry, we are making strides here as well. We have the first cannabis dispensary that has been established at Heritage Key. And I believe it's the first one within the OECS Caribbean. So you can see Antigua and Barbuda has been a trailblazer, not only within the region, but globally. Even in terms of climate change, Antigua and Barbuda has one of the strongest global voices on the issue of climate change. And you know, my colleagues within the OECS Caribbean, within CARICOM, they will say to you that the Caribbean needs a Gaston Brown administration. So I want you to know too that our impact is not limited to Antigua and Barbuda. Our impact spreads beyond the shores of Antigua and Barbuda. And that is why you should feel proud to continue to support the Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party, the Gaston Brown administration, because of the competence and certainly the skills that we have developed, not only to deliver for the people of Antigua and Barbuda, but for the Caribbean region as a whole. So I want you to understand the quality of leadership that you have at this point, and to encourage you to hold on to this leadership, because truth be told, the quality of the leadership that you enjoy in Antigua and Barbuda comes around perhaps once in every 50 years. To get a team with the type of experience, competence, even youth, and the type of performance that you'd have seen during the 8.5 years, that is not something that you'll achieve anytime soon. And when you compare our team to the UPP, you know, we call them LLCs, individuals who have absolutely no experience in government. The only person who has any experience, and it is experience of failure, is Harry Lovell. So the question is, how can anyone reasonably expect a team without the competence, without the experience to perform? Performance does not happen by chance. It doesn't happen by osmosis. People have to be properly trained, must be experienced. And if you have a bunch of individuals, a hodgepodge of individuals who have absolutely no competence, no successes, not even in their personal lives, how do you expect them to empower you? It cannot happen. And let me say to you, if you can't empower yourself, You cannot empower nobody else. Don't let anyone fool you. And you can see that within the Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party, we are committed to empowering the people of Antigua and Barbuda. You can see our work. You are the beneficiaries of our work. There's no other time in the history of Antigua and Barbuda that so many Antiguans and Barbudans would have owned so many cars, so many homes, so many businesses. This is the first time in the history of Antigua and Barbuda that we have had such a large expanded ownership by Antiguans and Barbudans. Let us not forget that it's my administration that provided the opportunity for ownership of shares in West Indies Oil Company, a listed company, the largest company in terms of capitalization on the Eastern Caribbean Stock Exchange. Let us not forget that it's my administration that forced Scotiabank to sell their assets to ECAB. And you know, Royal Bank had to follow. As a consequence, the ownership of the banking assets in this country are owned majority by Antiguans and Barbudans. So again, you can see that we are expanding ownership for everybody. And I want to say to you that this new term, we will go further to empower the people of Antigua and Barbuda. We have established a socio-economic infrastructure to assist you. We have the EDP, that is the Enterprise Development Fund or program. And we will make sure that we further capitalize it. But you know what I will do? I will make time to sit down with entrepreneurs and to help you to develop your programs. I will also make the time to even match investors and entrepreneurs, because you know when it comes to ownership, I am committed. You know that my team is committed. We want to expand domestic ownership so that the commanding heights of this country's economy will be controlled by locals. There's no other administration that has done more to expand local ownership and the management of our corporations than the Gaston Brown administration. West Indies Oil Company, for example, is literally managed primarily by local Antiguans and Barbudans. In fact, that's an understatement. Exclusively by local Antiguans and Barbudans. Our banks are now managed, our local banks, primarily by local Antiguans and Barbudans, even though we don't want to see further expansion and a total domination of the management of the banking system by local Antiguans and Barbudans. So it's about improving the capacity for you to manage these entities and at the same time providing the opportunity for you to own them. That is our commitment to you, to take this country to the next level of progress and development. And again, as I said, insofar as education and healthcare is concerned, we'll continue to invest in those sectors to provide the best quality education and certainly the best quality healthcare for people. And housing, well, already there's a housing revolution taking place, but we're going to revolutionize the revolution in the next term. So we'll be building more homes. And you see all those dilapidated wooden buildings. I give you my word that my administration will put the systems in place to empower those people with their wooden homes to get better homes. Already, we have already made the investment in a concrete plant, the investment in a block plant, the investment in concrete or cement trucks. My dear colleagues, and you know what? We're going to get our cement plant to get our silo and process our own cement. Because you know what we want to do? Is have all of the inputs, the sand, the aggregates, the cement, to drive down the price of building products in this country. So that when you are ready to build your wall property, to move from your wooden property to your concrete property, you can get the aggregates relatively cheap from the government. And let me say to the private sector entities, we're not seeking to compete with you. We are making these investments as investments in our people. When we make investments in education, we're investing in our people. When we make investments in healthcare, we're investing in our people. When we make investments in housing, we're investing in our people. Many people, I don't wish to go on and on. There are many other speakers. And I just want to thank you all for coming out again in your numbers. And to ask the people of Antigua and Barbuda to continue to support the Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party. Make sure that all of you go out next Wednesday, the 18th of January, and to support the Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party. I say to all of our comrades and well-wishers that you need to get out there early on the 18th. We need not have any lethargy. You cannot take the position that the Labour Party has already won. You need to go out there and mark that X. We do need to have any form of complacency in this great movement. So I ask you to encourage all of your neighbors, all of your family members to get out early next Wednesday, January 18th, and let us put Harold Lovell and the UPP to rest permanently. Thank you very much, my dear comrades. Much love and blessings. Thank you.
One more blessing. I love the blessing. I love the blessing. Them can't stop me. I am blessed. I am blessed. Every day of my life I am blessed. When I wake up in the morning and I lay my head to rest. Every day of my life I am blessed. Even though mess up my praise God. Make money, money it has, one bad mind, God knows me, me love woman, me father him, that's why me born. Enough of them a try stop me fly past them straight. One of them a wicked, so what them in a rate. You know them want back still little food from me plate, but I got over devil a hell with them straight. I am blessed, I am blessed, every day of my life I am blessed. When I wake up in the morning and I lay my head to rest, every day of my life I am blessed. God bless me up, He watch over me. So when the wicked rise, judgment feed them. For 10 years, me I make it. Someday I had to sit down, but me a tour. Hands up from you, now bow stand. Well, I make me pick up me friend them. Live up your rhythm, it have a play. Irish and chin, no worry, everything straight. I am blessed.
I am.
Every day of my life I am blessed. When I wake up in the morning and I lay my head to rest, every day of my life I am blessed.
Somebody say yeah, yeah, yeah. All the way with Labour, man. You heard from the leader of the Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party just now. And as I call him, the best prime minister in the world. None of them can govern like he. And that's why you see they're trying to take out Labour Party. And we're not putting them back there, no. Because all they're full of destruction, sufferation, and hardship. We're not going back to that. Not them again. Oh, we go with them there. Fire us. Yeah. We going to the man of the hour now, man. We going to the man. For your representative, you want? St. George's, how you feeling? Are you here? The brother of the opponent endorsed Dean. So we have no other choice but to vote Dean. We have you read them, make Dean see you. We have you read. And welcome the representative of the St. George's constituency.
St. George's people.
For third time, we put in Dean in Parliament, man.
Each boy, girl, and woman, Dean always gives a helping hand. 8 years of development for all to see. Education, sports, and health prosperity. So on election day, we're voting Dean all the way. He is the one. Dean Jonas is a real leader. St. George is with him forever. Continuing to deliver. We voting Dean and Labour. St. George is strong.
We have you read. We have.
Always here for you. That's me. I want to thank you all for coming out tonight. It's a big crowd here tonight. And I really appreciate your presence because it shows how important this is to you and how important your personal development is. I want to thank all the speakers who went before me, especially my brother and friend, Mr. Callis, who has stepped up because he's just frightened for his community. He grew up in Potters. And I want to welcome you all here tonight. Now, the countdown is on. We have 8 more days to go. 8 more days to the big day when our people will return Dean Jonas to St. George and the rest of the ALP team to their respective communities to represent you and to look after your best interests. 8 more days of desperation from the snake and the UPP. 8 more days of desperation. And I'm telling y'all, expect 8 more big lies. 8 more big lies gonna come at you. They start already, you know. They say I pull gun on people. Just imagine that. Dean Jonas will pull gun. Me gunman. They lie. They lie. Yeah? They say that I take away land from you, says Daniel. Let me tell you all, doesn't lock you up. I have 3 wonderful women in St. George that I have empowered. All of them are women with children. They're farming a little piece of land. Give them a little plot, house plot, where they're doing some backyard farming. Eustace Daniel was aided and abetted by them, boy, I don't want to call the names, you know. But let me tell you all this, you know. Eustace Daniel has over 2.5 acres of land. He has never farmed the area the way those 2 ladies. Those ladies have been there for over 3 years now. And they go and they mess up the place, plow up the place, dig it up. He did it. The ladies and them called the police, made their case. They had pictures of him there doing it. Destroyed their crops. The police, of course, lock him up. That's what police do. We're a country of laws. We are a country of laws. Can't go into people's place and mess it up like that. If you have a problem and a dispute with any of these ladies, pick it up with the appropriate authority. That is how you do business. You don't just go in there and destroy people's things. That is craziness. So you go up and observe where they're crying crocodile tears. Crocodile tears. One in here from me now. I don't stand down from righteousness. 3 women that I have empowered. And they're going to stay right where they are. Nobody going to move them. I'm telling you all this right now. When it comes to fighting my people, see, I don't back down easily, you know. I'm telling you all that right now. But you know that about me. Back to the point. 7 more days. 8 more days. Expect 8 more lies. More lies going to come at you. They claim that we knocked down his billboard. Put the billboard right there in the parking lot. Now, when they put their billboard there, you know, I wanted to put one there, you know, and we put a billboard right next to his. While we were building it, the DCA came, made a representative, you know. DCA came and said, Mr. Jonas, move it from there. I said, what? They said, move it, can't put it there. So we had to put ours right back against the fence, move it. I complied with the law. So they're above the law? Huh? But DCA going to knock it down, carry it down to the dump where it belongs. And that's where all of them going to end up. I don't blame DCA for that. They tell me to move mine and I complied with them. Why he mustn't comply? Huh? Why shouldn't he comply? I move mine, he have to move his too. That's a DCA decision, not mine. I have nothing to do with that. 8 more days. Expect 8 more lies. They lie. But that's what snakes do. That's what they do. They love to then do what they nonsense, break the law, and then go on their radio station to cry crocodile tears. Pay no attention to them. Pay no attention to them and their lies and their crocodile tears that they like to cry. Telling you right now. Yes, my people. 8 more days. And you people will have to decide the quality of life that you want. 8 more days. Do you want betterment in this community? Well, stick with Dean Jonas. I brought that secondary school here after advocating strongly for it. We are now building an Olympic swimming pool. You heard the Prime Minister and the Minister of Sports talk about it. You think it easy? There's so many other communities where they can put these things, but I have to advocate. You have an advocate here. Let me tell you all this, People in Potters, Barnsley, New Winchester, and Pickards are now going to be swimming up there, learning platform diving and swimming to compete in the Olympics. That's our vision. This is a sporting community, We produce cricketers out of this community. New Winchester produce a lot of cricketers too. We have a young sprinter out of New Winchester. Went to Jamaica and beat them because we supported him. We're going to continue our sporting development in this community. That swimming pool is going to be something, it's not just a pool, It's an aquatic center. I want all the young people and them when we build it to go up there. It's not just about learning to swim. It's about exploring talent. Right now, we don't have facilities to train our young people in aquatic sports, so we can't compete. That is what we're about, giving opportunities to people. Giving them opportunities. What else have we done in this community? 8 more days to make a decision, my people. Ignore the lies and deal with what is real. Deal with what is real. Y'all want me to tell y'all the name of the 3 women up there? You want me to call their names? Huh? But all Potter women, all of them are Potter women. Come from Potter barn and bed. Huh? Boy, I can't believe this, People sending me a kind of message, how are you going to do that to you, see Daniel? How are you going to do this? How are you going to... Lies! And I don't like it. They must stop their nonsense and stop the crocodile tears. You have the 3 acres there, go and farm it. Leave them alone. Leave them alone. I'm not going to stand for it. So if I have to lock you up again, if you go back there again, you're going to lock him up again. Not making no joke with them. Police must do their work. That's what the police are there for. To keep law and order. That's the job of the force. Some beautiful young ladies in St. George, I'm telling y'all, Wonderful. Talented. We build a school there to educate them. That's what we do. We don't abuse women. We train them, we teach them, and we explore the skills. Now, let me tell you all this. The Harrison Center, we call it ABIS now. The TVET Center, Technical and Vocational Center. That is where the facility in Antigua where we teach technical and vocational subjects. They teach them all kinds of things. Plumbing, electrical work, all kinds of things up there. We're expanding it now. We are going to be building that facility, expanding it, to take advantage of what they call the orange economy. Our young people are going to be excelling in dance. They're going to be excelling in music, songwriting, music production, film production. All of these things we are going to be excelling in. So now we're going to have people, y'all heard from Freddie tonight when he sang the song, Faithful. He had no formal training, he's just naturally talented. A lot of our musicians are naturally gifted. But just imagine, if you take those people who are gifted and gave them the formal training that they need in music, writing, production, and so on, they will become world class. World class. And that is what we're going to do right in Potters. Right to Potter. Telling you all, we're going to take this thing to the next level. To the next level. One of the things I have done, I've empowered a lot of businesses in this community. There's a gentleman right up there who built an aquaponics farm. Came to me and said, Mr. Jonas, we're trying to do this thing, run into trouble. So I was able to provide him with some financial assistance to build his business. The man quit his job. When I went up there the last time, I said, well, how are you going to just walk away from her? He said, me? I quit my job. My wife quit her job too. Two of us. Between $3,000 and $4,000 a week they're making from selling lettuce and other crops. Just from that backyard farm he built there. That is serious money. That is the kind of thing that we do to empower our people, right here in Potters. And we have done it across the board. A lot of persons are now investing in that. We have invested in a lot of small businesses that I have helped to empower across this community. And I'm not going to stop. I'm going to continue doing it. That's right. You're going right back there. I'm telling you right now. One of the other lies. Remember, tell you 8 more days, plenty lies don't tell you now. The snake come in here and say he come from Potter, right? He like for always say, me and Potter man, we come from Potter. Born somewhere around south. Now, the people in them around south are brilliant people, They're smart people. There are many people here from Bendels and Bowlands. I don't even know. One of them village there, he come from. Bendels? I'm saying Bendels. Me no know. But his brother is here. He could ask his brother. Now, why would he come in here and lie about something like that? Why would you just lie about it? He used to live in Potters, I'm not denying that. He used to live in Potters. But plenty of people live in Potters, but they come from Potter. One Potter man. And I'm telling you, Potters people, y'all be careful with that. The lies they like to tell. You're looking at a genuine Potter man. The only time in my life where I never lived in Potters was when I went to university. All I had to. Came back right to Potters after I done. Born here, live here all my life. Not going to leave. I love the place. What am I going to run from it for? I love this community. And that is why I have a vested interest in making sure that this community gets developed. The very first school that I went to, we call it Georges Hill School, right there in Barnesville. Right now they call it New Winchop Primary School. I don't know why. School in the Barnesville, they call it New Winchop School. But that's all right. But when I went there, they call it Georges Hill School. You see, I'm a community man. I used to live in Pickett's too. This is where my family actually originated. My family originated in Pickett's. Actually, Jonas Estate is where we come from originally. Right there in Freeman's Village. Called the whole area Jonas. Some of us went over to Pickett's, where my father grew up. And he acquired some property here in Potters, where I grew up. Right here in Potters. They call the area Jonas Village because Desi Jonas was the first person to live there. That's my great-great-grandfather, Desi Jonas. That's why they call the area down there Jonas Village. Or Jonas. And let me tell you, plenty of them still live down there right now. We call Jonas. All right? So you're looking at the real thing, a real Potter man. In Potters, you see, this is a very big village. We have over 3,000, close to 3,000 voters in this village. So in order for us to know where is where, we have all kind of little names that we give to the village, Jeffrey, Jonas, Berlin. We have all kind of names that we give to different areas of the village. So people will know where you come from. But all in all, a Potter people them be. Potter people them be. So no matter what the name. So let me tell you, my people, do not allow any slippery slider to fool you. The UPP has no respect or regard for the people in this community. Last election, they sent a gunman, a real gunman, to run as their representative. Where is he now? They bring them in to run, they lose, and they disappear. You never see them again. They have a lady that ran before him, disappear again. Where are they? You see, they are not a part of the community. So now they bring the serpent to say, "You're Potter man. He don't come from Potter. He don't live here. He come in to run and create confusion. And when he lose, he disappear again. You're not going to see again." Let me tell you all this, After politics, I am still going to be here in Potters. A Potter I come from. This is where I live all my life. So I plan to go nowhere. So I will be making my rounds all the time. Potters, Pickers, Barnes, and New Wind Shops, everywhere. Cedar Valley, Carlisle, big community. I will be up and down this community for the rest of my life as long as the Lord will have me here. So St. George, if you want to live your dream, you have to re-elect the Antigua Labour Party and Team Dean Jonas. I'm calling upon you. Let us realize your dreams for seniors. I could talk about a lot of things I've done in this community. I was the one who implemented the government voucher program. This GAP program that many of you have benefited from. All over Antigua and Barbuda. It's a national program. During the COVID crisis when many of you couldn't go to work. I have Miss Baltimore right here in the audience. I am telling you all, this government is very caring, We deployed that program to assist you right out of my ministry. The idea of the ministry of the blue economy. Look, I don't want to get too technical, Let me tell you all, this blue economy is going to transform this country. Big time. But we will talk about that some more. I am telling you, you stick with Dean and realize your dream. And we will all work together to ensure that we continue to build one another up, to create real meaningful jobs. I will not be lying to you. I will not be abusing you. I am going to take care of you. I'm going to look after you. And all I want you to do is to look out for your best interests. On the 18th, next week Wednesday, go up there and support yourself. Support you. Mark your X for Dean Jonas and the Antigua Labour Party. Thank you very much, my people. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Dean Jonas promise.
There's one thing I have to tell you all. He just reminded me. This community is so big right now that we have 2 polling divisions in Potters now. On election day, listen to me carefully, there's going to be voting at Potters Primary School and also at St. Novel, which is Academy. So, let me look here quickly and tell you who. From A to K is at Potters Primary School. If your surname begins with A, like Adams, or K, Kelvin, you're voting at Potters Primary School. From L to Z, you're at St. Novel, which is Academy. Make sure the senior citizens especially understand that. Because I know a lot of them are still going to go up there. That's what they're accustomed to do. They're accustomed to go up to Potters School and vote for Dean. And when they go up there and they tell them not to go up, they're going to get in trouble. Pay attention. So from A to K, if your surname falls between A and K, you're voting at Potters Primary School. From L to Z, you go to St. Novel, which is Academy, very close by. So let us make sure we come out on election day. Come out on election day and vote Dean Jonas. Thank you very much, my people. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Dean Jonas promise that he'll never leave you alone. St. George's people, yes, he loves you all to the bone. Defending every man, each boy, girl, and woman. Dean always gives a helping hand. 8 years of development for all to see. Education, sports, and health prosperity. So on election day, we're voting Dean all the way. He is the one. Dean Jonas is a real leader. St. George is with him forever. Continuing to deliver. We voting Dean and Labour. St. George is stronger than ever. United working together. Through every storm and bad weather. We voting Dean and Labour. Every need, every time. Dean's here for you. Every dream, every plan. beating them clean, clean, clean. Dean's here for you. Dean beating them clean, clean, clean.
Oh yeah, somebody say yeah, yeah, yeah. The man for St. George's, Comrade Dean Jonas. And hear what you say, right? Problem for them in the St. George's this year. Let me tell you, we're not done yet, you know. We have 2 more persons to speak tonight. You 2 representatives of them? Well, one of them will come now. Let me tell you, you heard from the leader of the Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party, and you heard from the man for St. George's. Now let us hear from the chairman of the Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party. We're going to St. Paul's and welcome Comrade E.P. Just line up. Welcome E.P. Chet Greenman.
Family. I me say family. Sure. If I want it, me hate a fern killer. Me no believe in a fern killer. I me say family. Me love me family, them do me heart. Me wanna dear one of them. Real kill it dead to the end, dead from me start. Me real better them. Cause them no know when we are buy 3 sardines and the 1 pound of rice from shop. And them no know.
Thank you, Comrade Chairman. Good night, comrades. We're having a wonderful evening here tonight. Let me first declare my endorsement of Comrade Dean Jonas as the best person to represent the constituents and constituency of St. George on polling day, January 18th, 2023. Comrades, I'm here tonight to do a quick election checklist. Because election is serious business. Election, I repeat, is serious business. There are some who want us to forget their track record. Some who want to treat election as some kind of nothing. But I want to remind us that the future of any country, of any democracy, is held together on a day such as next week, Wednesday, general elections. That is why tonight in St. George is so important. That we separate fact from friction. Separate man from boy. And human being from reptiles. That is why tonight in St. George is so important. That we examine the track record of Team Labour. The performance of Prime Minister Gaston Brown as Prime Minister and as Minister of Finance. That we also evaluate, assess, and put in context the performance of your representative, Comrade Dean Jonas. There are many pretenders. Some went and got nominated, but that's about it. Because elections, like I said, is serious business. We can't take chances with our future. As a matter of fact, when I drive around Antigua, I hear people saying, give me a chance, give me a chance, give me a chance. And all I say to them, go down Pobston Street. You can't take chances with your future. And anybody who comes to tell about give a chance, that alone tells you they're not serious about business. Because politics is the science of life. Serious business. When I hear them talk about some UPP, and this old man liberal tell me right now, this will stink. You can't call them UPP no longer. You have to call them you-poo-poo. They have no value. They have no worth. They bring nothing to the table. The last time we saw them in this town, they were busy destroying the economy and destroying the country. And that's facts. The last time we saw Harold Lovell operating as Minister of Finance in this country, he led us straight into the bosom of the IMF. And I know without fear of contradiction that every Antiguan and Barbudan citizen at home and in diaspora
were pleased when the Labour Party came to office and liquidated the IMF obligation and the declaration, never again. We believe that we have the ability, the capacity to grow our economy. We have proven that we can do it. At the height of COVID, when Harold Love and UPP say we should go to IMF, we refuse to go to IMF because we believe in you, the people. We believe that together we can grow the economy. We could rebuild Antigua and Barbuda into a prosperous nation. We told them we would not go to IMF because to go to IMF would mean we become very, very soft on international investment. Nobody comes to the country with IMF in town. And so, comrades and friends, I want to stick to my theme of election being serious business. Harold Lovell has the record of being the worst finance minister this country has ever seen. It goes beyond this issue of Antigua and Barbuda. He's the worst finance minister in any OECS country, in any Commonwealth country, in any CARICOM country, and the world by extension. When I listen to them talking about the possibility of forming government and the declaration of Harold Lovell, the same Harold Lovell, who is Minister of Finance, I am proud to declare, not them again. Not them again, because we do not forget. So far I've spoken on a few public meetings, and on every occasion I've made a point that the only way the UPP can have any political relevance is if we the people forget. If you tell me you agree with Gaston Brown for liquidating and chasing IMF out of town, how can we go for Harold Lovell again? When you read their manifesto and you see all their promises, all the idle, worthless promises, it tells you one thing, that they are going to go right back to where they left us, in the bosom of the IMF. They have not presented any plans, any program to show how they grow the economy and how we continue by our own bootstraps to lift Antigua and Barbuda and Antiguans and Barbudans. So obviously, their plan is to go right back to IMF. The same thing we the people say we do not want. When you look at St. George, you have Comrade Dean Jonas, an accomplished individual. Comrade Dean Jonas built a school from scratch to the point where it's now one of the most reputable schools in Antigua and Barbuda. Talk about performance in private life, owns his own property, leads a successful life. Look at who they bring to run against him in St. George. Not only a state, a man who decided he's going to try something with agriculture. And the most he could grow is one pupper tree. One pupper tree. And somebody said that if he planted the pupper tree, was a bird that flew overhead and did some droppings, and there came the pupper tree. He, they promised us, will be Minister of Agriculture in this country. It's an insult to the work that Comrade Samantha Marshall is doing in agriculture. An insult to the work that Labour is doing in agriculture. An insult to all of you who during the pandemic took to backyard gardening and who understand the government's mission of food security. They are not serious about anything. And so therefore, if election is serious business, you cannot put people who are not serious to run serious business. It's as simple as that. Election is serious business, and if you're not serious, you're in the wrong place. Antigua and Barbuda's development is at a crossroads with respect to the elections of the 18th of January. At the crossroads only because there are some pretenders who are trying to contest the elections. But you know and I know, we all know, that the future is safer with Labour. You know, I know, and we all know that the work that this government has done over the last 8.5 years is second to none in this country. You know, I know, we all know that to build Antigua and Barbuda into an economic powerhouse requires the work of Labour. And I prove a point to you very easily, very quickly. of 13 general elections, 13 general elections in this country, Labour Party won 10. What that tells you? That tells you there's a bond between the Labour Party and the people of this country. That tells you the people believe in Labour. Anybody can write a manifesto. So when I heard Bruce Goodwin, I'll tell you a secret now. You don't believe me? Go and read DNA manifesto from last election and read UPP for this one. One and the same. But who is Bruce Goodwin? An underachiever. Somebody who has not made any success of his life. If this government was spiteful government, Bruce Goodwin would be 1735, all now so. When the accountant general, the auditor general went to Cuba and added to the books in Cuba and the embassy, they found all kinds of irregularities. But I sat tonight and I heard Comrade Linda from Freetown and Liberty at the same time. I heard her call Prime Minister Gaston Brown kind. What do you call it? Kindy? He too kind. Nicey. Nice man. He decided that he would just leave Bruce Goodwin in the hands of the Lord. Because what he did in Cuba was enough for a jail sentence. But the UPP hired Bruce Goodwin to write the manifesto. And if you have failed at writing a document, what can it be but a failed document? If a failure writes a document, what can he portray? What can he project to you? Comrades, election is serious business. The life of a country hangs on elections. And on January 18th, next week, Wednesday, in this fair land of ours, we are called upon to elect 17 persons to go to the Law House of Parliament to represent us as legislators, as lawmakers. The path before us is either a continuation of the progress that we've seen over the last 8.5 years or retrograde steps with the UPP. If you look individually at the candidates on our teams, you will see the superiority of Labour Party and our candidates. You have a blend of youth and experience. When you take someone like Comrade Robin Yearwood, Sir Robin Yearwood, elected for the first time in 1976 in this country, maintained his seat from 1976 until now, it tells you that he has been a top performer. Because one thing I want to remind us, people only vote for people repeatedly when they perform. When you look at Comrade Cutie Benjamin, the best attorney general this country has ever seen, going up for re-election next Wednesday, it tells us that Antigua and Barbuda in safe hands. Don't talk about Comrade Sir Malvin Joseph. Almost single-handedly, he is responsible for the safety of Antigua and Barbuda during the pandemic. And I want to say to the people of St. Mary's North, that the least you can do, at the same time the best you should do, is to re-elect Comrade Malvin Joseph, who has indicated this is his last term in serve, as a swan song of appreciation and of thanks for his sterling contributions to this nation. That is what serious people do in the serious business of politics to serious people who have done serious work. Re-elect them, re-elect them, re-elect them to serve. When you look at St. Philip South, our next speaker, I don't need to speak for on behalf of Comrade Weston. His work speaks for itself. Anchoring the Ministry of Finance with the Prime Minister in the most difficult period ever experienced in modern Antigua and Barbuda. Those credentials are sufficient for the people of St. Philip South to re-elect Comrade Weston to office. Because it means that you will have a continuation of progress. You have steady hands, safe hands, trusted hands. I don't believe that people who should be 1735 for murder should be in Parliament. I do not believe, of emphasis repeat, that people who should be 1735 for murder should be in the House of Parliament. I want to go further. Because all kind of pretenders are propping up all over the place. Out by me, there was one they call Clown Attil, who has not ever done any work in St. Paul's, nothing. But she comes up because she earned a PhD. And if you study her PhD, she earned it while working for the government, sat in the office, writing a thesis, and did no work but received government money every month. They have no track record, no history of work. They have no track record of community involvement. She was born in Montserrat, grew up in Liberta, but never played any sport in the community, never had any friends in the community. Even today, as she decided to be a candidate, she doesn't even tell a funeral service for anybody in St. Paul's. And you know, I know, we know, that when it comes to funerals in this country, the traditions are real. It's a way of expressing support and solidarity to families in bereavement. I plan not to waste no time on her. Somebody asked me the other day, Chet, who won against you? I don't know. Somebody said, but why don't you debate her? I said, me debate her for what? To give her some prominence? Let her go and do some work. If you want to debate against Chet Green, who is known by all and sundry in St. Paul's and the wider nation, go and do some work. Let people talk about you doing something. But I won't dwell on me because I don't talk about me very well. I want to leave me and come to Colin James in All Saints in St. Luke. I told you tonight I'm doing an election checklist. Colin James, easily the best sport administrator in this country today. Having worked with more young people than any other sport administrator, deserves an opportunity to put his skills on behalf of All Saints East in the Parliament. But more than that, when you look at who Colin is running against, Jamal Pringle has the record of being the worst parliamentarian ever in the history of this country. When Pringle speaks, everybody trembles. Tremble in fear. What next is he going to say? Capacitor? I mean, my name is Green, but I manage my verbs well. But he and Green verbs seem to have some kind of love affair. I believe that the House of Parliament is a place where reasoned people go. People who can articulate, advocate, adumbrate, and speak on behalf of the nation. Can you imagine Jamal Pringle in government representing this country in any forum, anywhere in the world? I said to you again, elections are serious business, requiring serious people to take serious decisions. And so when you elect someone to the parliament, you have to start thinking about, okay, that person could very well end up in government, that person could end up as a minister, that person could end up being asked to represent this country somewhere outside the shores of this country. And we all know, you know, I know, we all know, that any Antigua and Barbuda representative who goes outside of this country to represent us either brings shame to us or pride to us. And I want to suggest to you that Jamal Pringle cannot do anything but bring shame to Antigua Barbuda, if at all he's asked to represent this country. Let me go quickly down the hill, and I find the lady of, for, and from the valley. Now we have seen in Comrade Samantha Marshall an outstanding Minister of Agriculture. There's no denying that under her watch, we have had the most backyard gardening in this country's history taking place. We can also agree, and I say this without fear of contradiction, that she understands the whole ethos of food security more than any other Minister of Agriculture in this country's history. She has come to office at a time when food security globally is a major issue. And as you read the manifesto, you will see the next level plans for agriculture. All those under the watch of Comrade Samantha Marshall. Not only a Shuki, so I call him. Chester said the Shuki means something different. I won't get to that. But as we look at the fellow who tried to run against Commerce Samantha Marshall, can't even get a nomination in place. How can you take that kind of person seriously? I remind you, election is serious business for serious people. And if you can't even put the nomination together, you cannot tell me you're deserving of being elected to the House of Representatives. And so on that score, I can leave that one alone and move on. Who am I forgetting? Dr. the Honorable Michael Brown. Michael needs no special references. We know that it was under his watch as Minister of Education that we had 5 islands open in Antigua to bring another level, a next level of education to our people. And so on the strength of that alone, Comrade Michael Brown, Dr. Michael Brown, deserves to be re-elected in All Saints West by the people for another term. And I will end now because I hear that I have to leave and ask you to internalize for yourselves. Don't just take my word, internalize for yourselves. The candidates on both sides, who can and who cannot, who has and who has not, make contributions to this country. But Comrade Melford Nicholas has a job to do on election day of retiring Harold Lovell once and for all. Once and for all, we're going to retire Harold Lovell, the worst finance minister this country ever seen, because he brings nothing to the table. We want to have Harold Lovell retired in public interest. Comrades, as I leave, I ask you please, make sure you can find your voters' IDs. Make sure you get your families lined up for election day. Get out to the polling stations early. Encourage your friends. Encourage your workers. Let us keep Antigua and Barbuda safe. Let's keep our democracy safe. Let's keep our development in safe hands. Labor, labor, labor. God bless you all.
Oh yes. Not them again. Labor rights. Y'all heard from the man from St. Paul's. I'm not going to waste no time because the man from St. Philip's South is in the building and he's here to bring the drama, to bring the facts, and to tell you it's labor, labor, all the way with labor in St. Philip's South, man.
Comrades, good night. I know it's pretty late tonight, and I can't go too long. But I want to say something to all of us, because during elections, they make us believe that it's all about the leaders, it's about the representative. They say bad things about us, and they forget that election is about the people who will decide who will run the country. So tonight, I won't speak about the representatives. I won't speak about the leader. I want to speak to you, the people who will decide who will run Antigua Barbuda. I want to ask each one of us, if you understand that the quality of your life, how much your children can achieve, how well your grandparents can serve out their retirement, depends on the type of government you have operating. And there are some people who will tell you when you campaign, I don't work for government. I have a good job. I have a good business. And therefore, I don't give a who is in power. Well, I want to say to the people who work in the banks, and they're some of the greatest example of individuals who believe they can fly above politics. You ask those people who work in the banks, if this administration did not stand up against all odds and ensure that the Antiguan banks bought the foreign banks so that the local banks could expand and become stronger, if they would have a job today. I want to remind the workers in the banking sector that everybody, every business person said the Labour Party was crazy, we had no money, and how can we buy these banks? The UPP said they were against it. I want you to follow me. They were against us buying the banks. We have now bought the banks. They have secured the jobs of all those workers. And unlike ABIB, they have protected your deposits. Because half, if not all of our people, have their life savings in the banks. And so when this government went to bat to make sure that the Antiguans owned the banks, they were protecting your life savings. I want to suggest to you that if an economy fails, if the government can't pay their wages, if the government can't pay their debts, not only must they go to the IMF, but they have to lay off people. You would have heard during those trying times when we had COVID, when they were predicting that we're going to have dead bodies in the street, when we had to lock down this country for a whole year, when we had no revenue, when businesses had to close, the banks had nobody paying their loans. I want us to understand we are facing a calamitous collapse where every single thing we knew would be no more. And when the UPP went hiding and they said to this country, do not follow the Labour Party with their mandates. Let the people die. Who want to take, and who dead. Today, if it wasn't for Labour, your grandmother would have been dead. Your brother could have been dead. We could have been dead. They chose death over your life and your future. The point I'm making to you, all the investments and decisions which make this economy successful, the UPP government and their supporters were against. They have this man called telling you they should not bring a university to Antigua, they should have a secondary school. Now, clearly she's saying to all of us, our children should not have access to university education. And then she comes and asks you to vote for them. So you're voting to keep your children from having access to education and a university education. You remember when we did global ports? They said they didn't want global ports. In the next 2 or 3 weeks, we're going to have 5, 6, 7 jets bringing cruise passengers. We will start their trip in Antigua Barbuda. Taxi men will be bawling and shouting. Men will be making money like rice. Today, all our taxi men are happy. Our cruise harbor is filled with vessels. But the UPP said we should not allow Global Port to manage that facility. And so all those taximen, all those vendors, all those individuals who are benefiting from tourism, cruise tourism, overnight tourism, based on the UPP's decision, they would not have happened. And so now they come to you and say to vote for them, so you should not have a good cruise tourism season. I go further. We have a project in Barbuda. And they joined with Trevor Walker and his gang and said that they're against the PLH project in Barbuda. That project plans to spend billions of dollars, create jobs, high-income jobs. We have our contractors minting money. We can't even get a backwater rent. You can't find a good plumber.
in Antigua. The UPP is against that project. All those people who are working in Barbuda, all those equipment providers, all those people who provide food for these individuals, you would not be working if UPP was in power. And they're now coming to tell you you should vote for them so they can cut your throat and stop your employment. We could go through project after project which drives this economy, which is responsible for growth. And if you check the history, every single successful project the UPP was against. Can you believe they were against Mount St. John, Celeste Bird Medical Center? They marched with candlelights and said the walls should fall. Well, today, you'd have heard the Ministry of Works, and we don't have time to boast about our work, but I'll tell you, it is the first time infrastructure development is driving policy in a country, in the Caribbean and anywhere in the world. By the very assets we choose to build, we have driven policy in areas of tourism, in security, in areas of health care, and of course in industrial relations. And so we are building a regional center because we chose to face down those power brokers who said they'll spend money against you in the election if you buy a block plant. They'll spend money against you if you buy your own concrete plant. Because poor people must not ever be able to afford good quality housing brought on by the capacity of the government to produce houses at a rate you can afford. And so when you enjoy those houses by National Housing Development and Chapter, when you have your contractor can provide you the home you can go to the bank and afford, it was the UPP who said we are competing with the private sector and we had no right to own those assets and defend the people's interests first. And they're coming to you and say to vote for them. They're asking you to vote against your ability to afford high quality housing. That is what they're coming to tell you. That you must now vote with your own finger to bring an end to the capacity of government to build you homes at an affordable rate. We had something called industrial relations. We had a backup of cases, you remember? You couldn't have justice. Cases were taking 4, 5, 6 years. What did we do in the Ministry of Works? We built a brand new industrial court with 3 courtrooms. And justice is now being provided to workers in this country. When we say we're a party of workers, we don't just talk it. We walk it. And so I hear them talking about a manifesto. And I read it last night. And I think it was really, I heard they say Bruce. But Bruce is a finished force. That sounds like a first farmer giving an exercise. And he just simply say, everything in the world we're going to do. We're going to do. Well, let me tell you something. When it comes to managing a country, the first thing you check is the money. You cannot do anything unless you have the money. You have to look at the budget. You have to say, how will they finance the budget? Where's their budgetary framework to demonstrate they have the financing in place to even pay public servants, much less to do anything else. Without growth, you cannot attract financing. And I want to ask all of you, in that 62 pages of their manifesto, tell me one single major investment project they identify that would drive growth in Antigua Barbuda over the next year or two. Not a single project. I want to suggest to you the very projects which are driving the economy, they're totally against. They're on record has been totally against them. So they want to close down the projects driving growth and creating employment, creating income, and they have nothing to offer. What will you vote for? What are you voting for? And so the first thing you look at is money. The second thing is who is making the promise. Every idiot can talk, every jackass can pray. But it takes the men and women of labor to produce and make sure that you can really realize your objectives. And I want to give you a simple example. We all know that Harold Lovelace lost, 8 of the 10 elections, 6 of the 10 elections, he's a loser. We know Harold Lovelace and all his friends are smashed up. We don't know why. They say he's selfish. They say thin skin. We all know Harold Lovelace is a spoiled picnic. Poil. He never built anything. He never built a house. He inherited 3 houses. Uncle give this, mommy give that, sis give him this. He went to school to study about rocks. He went to school, the Prime Minister of Trinidad, to study the same field. The Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago was the top man in that area in terms of volcanoes. He then went on to become Minister of Agriculture, then Prime Minister. Harold Lovell went on to lose 7 elections, a failure. He went on to do law. He said he was in school with the Prime Minister of Barbados, Mia Motley. They line up together. Today, Mia Motley is Prime Minister of Barbados, a QC, or KC now. And she is world-renowned for her intellect and contribution. And Harold Lovell joined a law firm for his uncle. Can't even get a case now, the law firm lockdown. In other words, the man who says he must lead your country, every time he lines up with people of quality, he not only comes last, you can't find him in the race. A loser. And he's going to run the country of V.C. Bird and Viv Richards. Where are you going with a loser? I heard a story and I can't believe it's true. They tell me, they told Harold, you have pressure, you can't live by yourself, you need someone to live with you. So he find a nice new girlfriend, she looking Chris, and he moves she in. 2 months after, she said she have a brother coming from J to spend some time. And he said, wonderful, more in the house. They lived there for 2 years with Harold. They went for a little vacation and get married. Harold moving the man, Harold woman moving she man for 2 years, you know that. They say, what you give for Rob, he eat. When they give for eat, he Rob. He don't even know where the donkey kick your eye so wetty. And he is going to run your country. The man is a fool. A big, big fool. And they say he's the best of the rest. You know, I heard a guy going against the Attorney General. And I asked, well, who is this? Because I knew his brother who worked with us in agriculture. They say he lived in America for a long time and he sell fourth-hand clothes. We know about second-hand clothes. But who sell third but just fourth-hand clothes? All his life, his reputation, he sell fourth-hand clothes, and he says he's coming to Antigua to be Minister of Education. Now this is crazy. I want to say to the people and the voters of this country, the UPP is trying to insult you. And you should pay them in full for their damn forwardness. I am saying if you're on a marble team, and you're picking the captain, or you're picking the representative team, do you pick the worst players? Do you pick people who can't play? Are you saying in Antigua, Barbuda, that those individuals on the UPP team are the best men and women in Antigua and Barbuda to represent you? Do you feel proud that they represent you? What do you expect from them? And I want to say,
when I heard that Dean had a boy named Serpent. Now, I knew Serpent a long time as a clown. Beg Lester Bird money trait. Knock bout. Play like a music, try a thing. And then he bingo with Observer. And he do a little thing. Now, all of a sudden, Serpent turned bright. Never in his life he has achieved anything. He live in a one-room house for the last 20 years. I don't think he paid the rent. Everybody run and leave him. He say, you're sharp, man, you can't keep one for longer than 3 months. They gone. All them run. He own nothing, have nothing, not going to place. He say he belly sick, he heart sick, he chest sick, he always sick. But the worst thing, he has a sick mind with low capacity. And I went to school with Dean Jonas, you know. And even when it comes to sharpness, Dean sharper than me. When it comes to brightness, Dean brighter than me. And when it comes to family life and have your lovely wife beside you, but then the wife run when Dean wife right there beside him. They by themselves at night and then they take in about the time in the calculado. So if they can't get family and friends to stay around them, how can they build a country together? How can they get a country to stand up in time of crisis? Like when we had a crisis in Barbuda, when Barbuda was wiped out and everybody ball murder. When Trevor Walker went in his backwardness, when the Prime Minister was trying to raise money to help them, Trevor Walker was marching against free houses. He said he didn't want Barbudans to get free houses. And he's going to ask you for your vote. The point I'm making is that it's not about us, it's about you. You have sacrificed everything to train yourself, to educate yourself, educate your children. You work hard and suck all, you buy a piece of land, you build your house, you plan your life. And these numbskulls who own nothing, have nothing, don't know nothing, won't lead you. You're going to make these clowns lead you. They have done nothing except come and say they're part of a party. I'm saying this is an insult, and let me say something to you. I heard a little sick-looking guy saying he is going to be Minister of Justice. And he wants to have access to justice. Now, how low can you get? All of us go to church. None of us perfect. But we know the rule, thou shalt not kill. And when you go and you wrap the cradle a little 16, 17-year-old, and then you want to humiliate her, and she gets pregnant, and she comes for money to go to the doctor, and you shoot her dead, and Harold will pick up that clown and say he must represent you. He must stand in our parliament as representing the best of Antigua Barbuda. I say Harold Lovelace pass his damn place. And you should make sure they all pay. They all should lose their deposit. I said tonight you look in your child's face, look in your granddaughter's face, and ask yourself if a killer murder your child, you will celebrate them and elevate them and put them in the highest position. You know, in Bethesda, they're going to vote in the church, the Methodist church. And we want to see which Christian will walk in there and bury that child a second time by dirtying their hand for a murderer. A killer who has shown no remorse, who says his hands are clean because some kind of smart liar don't put the case back in. And so the child lay dead rotten. And he's now saying he should be celebrated and elevated. And you as a voter will take your clean hand. But let me tell you something called retribution. And I tell you, anybody who dirty their hand for that murderer, they and their generations will pay. Because God don't like ugly. And if it was somebody's child who was rich, it could happen. Harold Lover would never elevate somebody who killed his daughter. So why Harold Lover believes he can do that to a woman from St. Philip South, and you celebrate Harold Lover, and you hug up your daughter and want to protect her, so your daughter must be safe, and you celebrate the murder of somebody else's child, and you say, UPP, UPP, and say, look in the mirror. Look in the mirror. That party has now hit rock bottom. I want to say to you, they came with their A team in 2004. They said they have more doctor than dirt. But as I showed you, Harry Lovell went to the same school as Mia Motley. She is QC, Prime Minister, and he can't get one client. So the doctors failed. They destroyed the economy. We know the history. That is A team for them. They now have the D team, the Duns team. And they're saying that you must take your hand, your brain, and put them in office. So after they don't work so hard to build your house, you can put them people there to make sure the country run well? And what you expect? I am saying this is not about Gaston Brown, or Chet Green, or even Dean or Weston. It's about you and how they want to insult you. I say every party has an obligation to give you people of standard, of capacity, who would have demonstrated their capability. And you can look up to as a mentor for you and your children, for advice, and to solve grave challenges when they come. Because let me tell you, if it is one thing which is certain, we're going to have calamity after calamity. Who could have imagined COVID? And let me tell you, it's over 24 months, we're getting half the money, Imagine you're losing $13, $40 million a month for 24 months and had to run the economy. You think it was easy? You think it happened because we didn't know what we were doing? You think it happened by chance? You look at the amount of experience we have had in this party. We not just come. This is not our first rodeo. We have been able to put our knowledge, expertise, and experience together to protect your future. And today, we are on the cusp of the next level. I want to end by giving a quick little peek of what that means in terms of Ministry of Works and the Ministry of Finance. It is very clear now that any country which does not devise policies to defend itself and its people will be exploited and will find themselves at the doorstep of the IMF. It is very clear we live in a world where size doesn't matter. They force you to compete, and you have to compete in spite of the lack of competitive advantage with these countries. It means you can only survive by using your skill, your knowledge to create value. In other words, it is the quality of our intellect to devise what we call products of the mind. Create things which only we can think up, unique things, unique services that will be able to compete. You must have strong mind, capable mind, trained mind to come up with products and approaches, negotiated positions that you can compete. Because nobody's going to cut you. No easy slack. And so when they were criticizing us for saying no IMF, and they were talking about cheap loan, well, Barbados has been to IMF recently, and 25% of the public servants went home. Before they could even sign, they had to send home 25% of their public servants. They had to increase the charge for hospital care. Medical benefits was no longer free. Education, people had to pay. And land prices nearly quadrupled. They were selling some little kubu for all kind of big money in Barbados. You can't afford no house. And they sat quietly and said to you, you should go to IMF. What are they telling you? And so I want to say to Antigua Barbuda, the UPP has not even done the first thing a leader should do, which is to choose a good team, a capable team. If as leader you choose a poor quality team, a team with no capacity, no track record, you have failed as a leader. And if all those other 16 or 15 persons who work with you in 2004, and every single one of them said they will never work with you, you're a clown and a loser, we should take note. Take note, not a single one of the UPP members of 2004 want to work with this guy. Take note that not a single member of ACLM, who he was a member of, want to work with this guy. Please understand, he had to choose men and women of no substance. Ice cream maker, poor little child. And then we have the Dunce's queen, so she's going to be Minister of Finance. The last thing I know about her, she used to go out a man who bleach. And she was a bleaching queen, now she's finance minister. They put a quota on her in the bank and they fire her, she can't achieve it. And she's going to be our finance minister. And so we have 8 days to send a signal that Antigua and Barbuda understands what it takes to build a country. Understands that if you want to captain and lead Antigua, you must be among the best. You must have a demonstrated track record. You must have trained your mind in some skill. You must have run a business. Achieve some kind of good quality in sports. Do something of excellence to tell us you have something in you. Not a clown show. Not a clown show. To go where? So you're going to tell your child, go and study hard so the serpent can be minister? And so you tell your child, go and study hard, come somebody. So that he boss. Young Murdoch and the fella Don Ward tried to work with him. And he said, look how me kick man a big degree now. Yeah, laugh, he kicked them out. Well, all the niceness done. Because I say, when you look at the projects they have been against, it is very clear to everybody they're against the people of Antigua Barbuda. If you're 50 and over 50 and haven't achieved anything, all you have is venom and envy and hate in your heart. If nobody can live with you, not even dog can live with you, but only your children can stand you. Nobody wants to be around you, live by yourself. What I tell you, something totally wrong, you're not good. You're not good. And so I want to say early and bright on Wednesday, we want all the votes in by 1 o'clock. We want to show UPP that they're banished for the next 20 years. They must retire permanently. They must not come back. Harold Lover must not come back. And they say the man called, she's sitting down saying she and Joan Arnold were just cooping them because she wanted to win so they can run the country. Well, I met her girlfriend in Willie Keys and the girlfriend said, send she back to me. Let me take care of she. All right? So we're going to pray, first of all, that those who are tied and hog-tied to party over common sense, hog-tied to party over their own interests, hog-tied to a party of no accomplishments, we're going to pray that God will free their minds from that mental slavery in the interest of their children and their own future. We cannot elevate a murderer in our parliament. We cannot stoop so low and go to church and say, Lord, 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 the next hurricane will wipe us out. And so send the signal when you go for that motorcade. That motorcade must be so huge. The line on Wednesday must be so long with bird people that they turn back and afraid to go vote. And those who stain their finger for incompetence, for backwardness, for hardship, beware of retribution. What you sow will what you will reap. We, at the next meeting, will speak about ownership and how we as a people can go to the next level in terms of ownership. Because we have a model here in Antigua that believe only white people can build a hotel. And I want to tell you that
My ministry at Ministry of Works, we already designed 3 hotels. We can build them. We don't have to wait on the white man to come any longer. Who want a long string of concessions and then change your mind every now and again. If they come with their body, we're ready. But if they come and want 1,000-acre land and 2,000-acre land and farming food like if we have no capacity, the next level ain't going to tolerate that because we have we have business managers, finance managers, architects, quantity surveyors. We will build our homes. We'll build our economic powerhouses. We will own the commanding heights. We'll be in charge of this country. And so they preach about community tourism. And when the black people from Congo come and go into the community and buy up all the chicken and go by the liquor shop, they say they don't want them. What do they want? They don't even know what they were asking for. This country has been great because the people have stuck with labor. V.C. Bird didn't stay in power for that length of time because he was making fool. He was transforming the lives of our people. Lester Bird had to fight for leadership, and he did his class act. And again, we were fantastic under Lester Bird. Then the little rude boy come and point the thing and say, he was independent, poor boy. But I want to say now, we believe, and you know, well, Gaston Brown boasts long time, and we boast same way, and we believe we can be the best government in the history of this country, not by talking, but by delivering. I want to tell the people of Antigua, put your trust in labor. Go and mark your X for labor. Together we're going to build this country. We're going to transform this country in ways you can't imagine. Any challenge can come, we will face it down. We go brave every time. We go big every time. We go Antiguan anytime. We go red every time. We go labor every time. Together we aspire, together we achieve. Thank you. God bless you. We will come again when we're going to see your farm.
Oh yes, comrades and friends, have a safe drive home. It's been a wonderful night here in Potters, wonderful night here in St. George's. See you guys on Thursday in All Saints West, Seaview Farm. Good night.
Antigua, Barbuda, get ready for the Big Red Megacade! Prime Minister Gaston Brown and your ABLP candidates invite you to join us this Sunday, January 15th at the Rising Sun Grounds, 11 a.m. Comrades, friends, well-wishers, it's your time to show your support for ABLP as we take Antigua Barbuda to the next level. Hear from your representatives, along with live performances and lots of entertainment. This Sunday, January 15th, we're taking it to the streets, rallying all over the country. We go run up the place. It's the big ABLP Megacade. Wear your red and come.
Dean Jonas promised that he'll never leave you alone. St. George's people, yes, Dean loves you all to the bone. Defending every man, each boy, girl, and woman. Dean always gives a helping hand. 8 years of development for all to see. Education, sports, and health, prosperity. So on election day, we voting Dean all the way. He is the one. Dean Jonas is a real leader. St. George is with him forever. Continuing to deliver. We voting Dean and Labour. St. George is stronger than ever. United, working together. Through every storm and bad weather. We voting Dean and Labour. Every need, every time. Every dream, every plan, Dean's here for you. Every X, every vote, we giving Dean. Dean beating them clean, clean, clean. Dean's here for you. Dean beating them clean, clean, clean. Dean's here for you. Dean beating